All right. Good morning, everyone, and we'll go ahead and start diving in. We've got a very full webinar today. For those of you who are joining, my name is Dylan Nguyen. I'm out of Denver, Colorado, and I'm with Live Sotheby's International Realty out of the Mile High City. Woke up today to fresh snow and powder. It snowed all night, and it was a balmy 9 degrees today. So, so I've got that to be thankful for. I, I'm super honored to be the luxury committee chair when I was chosen by Amy Kong, our national president. I ran with it, and because I know that I get to meet special guests like the ones that we have on today. We have the privilege of having this webinar sponsored by AREAA. For those of you who don't know AREAA, they're a pretty big deal. They're a pretty big deal. And we have Jason Rivero with AREAA, who represents their multicultural markets with us today. Jason, are you there? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, my friend.
Good morning.
It seems like you really evolved in your leadership and all the great things you did. I think we started working back when you were leading the EDGE committee.
I've grown up.
Yeah, exactly. People love the bowling alley experience you gave everybody.
That was great.
The early morning workouts and yogas. So I have some good videos that I have.
But I have to tell you, that night that we did the EDGE night, and for those who don't know what the EDGE is, it's actually AREAA's young professionals group. And so I had the privilege of chairing that. Was it last year or the year before? And we did a bowling mixers presented by, it was Sotheby's Realty actually, and Jason was there. So I have to tell you, actually, that night I vividly remember. So we were actually, for those that are in Dallas right now, if you're in Dallas, there's a neighborhood called Deep Ellum, which is like used to be scruffy, but now it's changed around. They've got the cool bowling alley. So being the coordinator of the event and having to clean up and pack up, got everybody situated on their Uber rides. There were no more Ubers, dude. And I literally, and my phone was dead. So not only was my phone dead, I couldn't get an Uber. The bar had closed. I literally had to walk through Skid Row to get back to the Ritz-Carlton. I remember getting there and the bellman says, "Good evening." And I just said, no, it's not been a good evening. That was funny. But Jason, talk to me. Who's AREAA? Who's Jason? What are you, talk to me. What's AREAA all about?
Yeah, sure. So I have the privilege of helping be a partner of organizations like AREAA, really support the efforts of really empowering, driving home ownership in the Asian American community across the nation through our broad network of brokers and agents. So if you're not familiar with AREAA, we're the parent company of 6 major brands, including Sotheby's International, Century 21, Corcoran, Coldwell Banker, ERA Real Estate, Better Homes and Gardens, and Coldwell Banker, to name the few there. So we have a large presence all around the country. And so, we've been involved with AREAA since the very beginning, and actually around this subject of luxury, the very first global luxury summit that we participated in. It's really taken off, and this continues to be one of the highlights. I think without a doubt, AREAA dominates when it comes to the luxury content subject matter experts that you have here as well. So yourself and Samji and we have Herman here on the line. So I can't wait to hear from them. But really, I'm just honored to be here and support your efforts. And thank you for stepping up as a leader. Again, I imagine this is a stepping stone for maybe president in 2024 or something?
No, don't say that. No, don't say that. Take that back.
No, but thank you. Glad to be here, Dylan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jason. And again, we're grateful for your partnership and sponsorship of the Asian Real Estate Association. And we look forward to working with you on this, on this 2021 committee term that I have. So
yeah, we got more content coming this year. So
yeah, we've got good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Well, everyone, for those that are tuning in, my name is Dylan. And again, you can also find me on social media, #DenverDylan, based out of Denver. And I am your luxury committee chair for the Asian Real Estate Association. I've got I've got actually 3 special guests, and rather than set this up as a panel style call, we wanted to make this more kind of like a talk show news interview. So I'd like to bring up my first guest. I've got Jared Larkin out of Denver, Colorado, with Chicago Title. Jared, are you there? Where are you, Jared?
I'm here. I'm here in my living room, snowed in, as you might be as well.
That's a really nice. Is that a virtual background? That looks really nice.
We've done some remodeling over the last year as we've spent more days in the house.
Nice. It looks awesome. And Jared, thank you so much for joining us today. Jared, who are you? Who do you work with? Talk to me.
Yeah, of course. So I'm with Chicago Title, and my main role at Chicago Title here in Colorado is to really work with real estate agents and mortgage lenders and really help them with their business, growing their business, and more specifically through doing that with various forms of digital marketing. So I pretty much spend my day talking to anyone from top producers to agents just starting out in the business and walking them through strategies and ways to help grow their business even more, or just things to do to help them be more on the ball. So I'm excited to be here today. I'm honored to be on the panel and share some insight on some new digital marketing strategies that I think some agents can take away from today.
Well, Jared, and I know that we've prepped somewhat of a slideshow, but before we dive into the slideshow and the technical aspect, so let's talk about social media. You're obviously on there, and for those who don't follow Jared, I really recommend following him. The content that he puts out there, he's quite the vlogger, and boy, you travel a lot. I mean, do you take the camera with you? I mean, obviously COVID has put a damper on that, but pre-COVID, I mean, did you take your camera with you wherever you would go?
It's true. I actually have a background in video production, so I do love to film and kind of share my lifestyle and traveling, and I do like to travel a lot. So the answer is yes. I've probably got a GoPro with me, or I've got some sort of DSLR camera, kind of vlogging my experiences as I go forward and hang out with my wife and dog.
Well, touching on that note, and you know, we talk about content and going out there on social media. Like for those realtors, I mean, there's a lot of realtors that are afraid. I mean, me personally, I still to this day, after hundreds of videos that I do, I still get nervous when I'm in front of the camera. Let me ask you this, Jared. Like, for a realtor who's just starting out, who just wants to dip their toe into making their first videos, what essential equipment would you recommend?
Totally. Yeah, it's going to be the same answer that I always give. It's going to be don't overcomplicate it. Really just starting out with your smartphone and just using the smartphone. If you have a phone that was made probably in the last 5 or 6 years, it's going to create great video. And really the step one is just actually turning on the record button and recording yourself. If you were to take it to a small next level, I'd recommend buying maybe like a little tripod. You can buy these things on like $10 for like $5 or $10 on Amazon that you could, station your phone on, or buying like a gimbal for like $70 on Amazon, which is going to allow you to stabilize your video. That way, if you're walking around or you're giving a tour or you're going through a house, you've got some stable footage. But really, that's it. I wouldn't overcomplicate it if you're just starting out.
Well, okay, so let's talk about content then. So we now know the essentials and as simple as using an iPhone. And of course, like for me, when I first started, I used a camera, and now, I hire a camera crew that does my videos professionally. And I evolved. I evolved not only from a technical standpoint, but also from, breaking through that shyness barrier, right? Or that fear. Yes. You're like, oh God, what are people going to say? And then you get more and more comfortable. Let me ask you this: what kind of content? I mean, especially, you're an industry, you're an industry partner, you're in the title world, so you get to see it from a different, perspective and eyeball. What kind of content do you want to see realtors and lenders put out there?
You've probably heard this before. I'm going to say it again, but it's going to be coming back to creating content that's going to be of value to your viewers, to your audience. Anything that is going to answer questions. Think about all those daily things that you go through in life, those questions that you get asked as a real estate agent, those commonly asked ones. I'd recommend putting out video content, answering those questions, just the things that we already know, that your typical everyday person who maybe it's their first time buying a house or selling a home, they're not going to know. content like that, content where you want your audience to be so comfortable with you that they've seen so much of your content that they feel comfortable just reaching out to you, sending you a message, whatever, and asking you a question. You know, examples being like the common myths of real estate, and maybe you cover certain myths, or ways to improve the value of the home. You know these 3 or 4 things before you're going to buy a house. Like all these quick little different topics that you can cover where you're adding value, you're positioning yourself as the expert, and people are going to keep wanting to come back and learn more content.
Well, Jared, I know that you got a slideshow prepped, and you know, I know that people are really excited because you, my friend, I mean, even when we chat, you know, when we had that chat about like, you know, a month or 2 ago before the holidays, and I was frankly blown away by, you know, just the technical aspect of, you know, I think a lot of us go out there, we just put a video in our feed and we just hope and pray, but your approach is very, I mean, there's a purpose, there's you know, there's the investment ROI, and you get to actually track tangible results. So with that being said, I'm going to actually let you dive in, if it's okay with you, to do a quick screen share and kind of go through the big components of how, so once I've got my camera phone, I've got my cool video, I've just started to talk about it, how do I get that out into the world?
Sure, yeah. So first off, right, we're going to want to post our content on our platforms, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, right? TikTok, the link goes on. There's tons of platforms. I usually get asked like what platforms to post to. My typical answer is going to be wherever your audience is the greatest, right? If it's Facebook and you have all of your Facebook friends on there, then be sure to focus on Facebook, right? If it's Instagram, it's Instagram. If you're willing to take to the next level, then it's going to be multiple platforms. For me personally, I've got a certain audience on Facebook that sees my content, a certain group on Instagram, and then a whole nother group of professionals on LinkedIn. So for me, it's usually cross posting to different platforms. And then in addition to that, it's also, you know, kind of getting the word out there. You know, maybe if I just put up a post, I'd put a Facebook or an Instagram story to help get more eyeballs on it. So that's usually what I do from an organic side of things. I know we've only got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to kind of rush through this, but I want to really talk about the power of running some really targeted digital ads with your content. So say, for example, Dylan, right, you hire a professional videographer, you spend all this money, you've got this great video, and you post on social media. Great, that's a great step one. But what happens is, unfortunately, out of all your friends and followers, only a very small percentage of these people typically are going to see that video.
So how do I get everybody? How do I get all of my friends to see my video?
Of course, yeah. So the hack is going to be to spend a little bit of money and just run a targeted ad, right, on Facebook and Instagram. And the hack here is you can run a targeted ad to your database, your list of people that you have their contact information for. So think about that database that every agent has, right? Well, hopefully with their name and their email and their phone number, you can actually take that list, you can upload it into the back end of Facebook and Instagram, and now you can target just these people. And what's great about this is it's very cheap. You're going to probably pay, you know, 1 to 2 pennies to get a view, and you're getting your content out there. So unfortunately, I've seen it where so many times agents, they spend all this time and effort, but then they post their video and it gets no traction. So I'm going to share my screen.
And while you're sharing your screen, I'll talk while you're doing your thing. You know, the one thing you hit on an interesting point where you talked about, you know, lately, for those who are watching, I think a great read, get onto Amazon and buy the book. It's actually called 1 Million Followers. And Jared, you actually hit on a lot of items that were on that book called 1 Million Followers, where, you know, I think a lot of people who don't know how to use the power of sponsored ads, you know, they'll just go with what Facebook says, just kind of blast and pray and just hope that the ad sticks. But myself, as well as our company here in Denver, Live Sotheby's, we actually subscribe to a platform called Ninja Selling. And the thing with Ninja is that we focus on the people that already know, like, and trust us. So rather than go out and chase just random strangers out there and blast them with ads, why not make a meaningful video that talks about me as my, you know, as the realtor, or whatever it is that you do, and you're staying in constant contact, you know, or those touch points with your sphere already. So I'll let you do your thing and go through the technical aspect. This is really, really exciting. So you do you, Jared.
Okay, so First of all, just to clarify, right? Usually when we throw out the term, you know, running ads and stuff, agents are quick to assume that we're running ads to generate leads, which is of course something that you can do. You can target a cold audience and you can generate leads and whatnot. But my main focus for the next 5 minutes is just to discuss running ads to warm audience, to your database, to your sphere, to your farm area, to people that you want to be in front of and stay in front of through a list. So kind of going over real quick, running an ad on Facebook or Instagram these days, if you're going to run an ad that's real estate related, unfortunately, you have to choose the special ad category, which is the housing category. And when you do that, you're restricted to a very wide 15-mile radius or larger area. This is the problem with running real estate ads for anyone who's trying to generate leads. Now, the loop here is you can actually run ads to specific lists. There's many different ways you can run ads. I mean, you could just, even if you didn't have a list put together, you could run ads to people who like your Facebook page, friends of people who like your Facebook page, stuff like that. But if we get more into like the advanced stuff of things you can do, when you are running more advanced ads through your business manager account, you can do a lot of things. So for example, on this slide here, right, you can target people that are visiting your website and hit them with a pixel. You can, you know, retarget people who've seen certain videos. You can retarget people on Instagram. So like maybe you're trying to get a post on Instagram out to more of your followers, but the algorithm's working against you. You can target certain followers on Instagram. But really, we're just going to hone in on the list option. And what that means is when you set up a business manager account, you can do this by just simply going to www.business.facebook.com. You connect your ads account, you connect your Facebook page, and then you're able to upload your list and run your ads. And what this kind of looks like is if you've got, like I said earlier, if you've got a spreadsheet and you've got someone's first name, their last name, and then either their email address or their phone number, you can take this information and you can actually upload it into Facebook. And it looks something like this. You upload the file, you can map up the columns. And then what's going to happen is once you click the upload button, Facebook's going to take all this data information and reverse engineer trying to find each of these people on this list. And what this does is now you've got just a very, very targeted approach to who you want to stay top of mind with. So all those friends or followers on Facebook or Instagram that maybe aren't seeing your content for whatever reason, well, now you can still get through to them because you've got a foolproof approach with the list. Does that kind of make sense so far?
Can you hear me? Yeah, it does. And Jared, I think we had a question from Herman. He wants to know, when you run a sponsored ad, is it going to say that it's sponsored?
It will say that it's sponsored. It's going to say that right below at the bottom. To me, though,
do you feel like there's a downfall, or is there? I mean, does that come off as I don't know. I mean, I see them, and I mean, it's still a post regardless. And I mean, look, you're mindlessly scrolling through it anyway. So I think people naturally expect an ad. So if I see it, I don't really. I guess I don't think twice of it. But do you feel like that has any impact on the ad that you're putting out there?
For me, I subjectively think no. I think you're still getting your name and your face in front of your audience 24/7. And you can still humanize the post, right? It doesn't have to be like a hard sell. It could be anything, you know. I've
right, like your travel videos.
Making travel videos or something more title or marketing related and everything in between. And that's the beauty of it. Really, the point here is that all those people who weren't seeing your content anymore, now you can hit them, right? Now you can target in on them. And the advantage to this is you can set up your ad and you can schedule it out. So like I'm working with agents right now and we're setting up foolproof 2021 marketing plans where they've got ads scheduled every single day for all of 2021 with content to their database. So you can set it up, you can run it. Like I said earlier, it's only going to cost you a couple pennies to show an ad. And that's really advanced.
Another question that came through is, how do we set up a CSV? But that's basically, you can convert, like if you have an Excel spreadsheet, you can just save it as a comma separated values type of file, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
From Excel or from numbers or whatever. Then you just upload.
Oh wow, there's our ad. Look at our ad right there. Nice.
So I was a little late to the game, but I launched this ad on Monday morning. I think I ran it for like two and a half days. So I just threw like some quick money at it. I threw like $62 at it. And guess what? I targeted my list. So I targeted my database. I targeted agents within this area, right, who might be interested in jumping on this webinar. And from that, you can kind of see the results down below. From that $62 spent, it reached almost 1,700 people on the list. It was shown, 4,500 bucks. I'm sorry, 4,500 times. And if you kind of back into those numbers, like if you really look at the math here, I mean, I'm paying about a penny to get this post into the people that I want to be in the newsfeed.
Rick just wrote on the box, I'm here on this because of the ad. So it worked. I mean, it goes to show you that it works. Well, but Jared, let me ask you though, I mean, do you think that that you should mix it up between a still image like the one that you just promoted and video, or should you do all videos? Should you do all, like, what should the post look like that you're putting out there?
Totally. In a perfect world, I would recommend video. And that's for a lot of the reasons that we may already know. It's more engaging, it's more effective, it's more of a connection. And also too, when you do usually run video ads, because they're more engaging, Facebook and Instagram are going to reward you, and they're actually going to charge you less money for showing people an engaging advertisement. So without a doubt, the answer is video. But hey, if you're in a time crunch or you're not comfortable with video yet, you can still do a post and get stuff out there. But gotcha. Video content, any value you can share. I'm setting up a lot of ads right now and helping agents with like, hey, download my free buyer's guide, download my free seller's guide, download, this PDF document to this stuff. And they're starting to get these kind of warm leads from people already in their network and create those opportunities there. So that's kind of this in a nutshell.
Nice. We've only got just a few minutes left, and I know that there's questions that are out there. So Jared, let me ask you this. So before our segment ends, and if people want to get a hold of you and they want to reach out and contact, and you can help them out, help them with their social media, how do they find you? Where do they get a hold of you?
Totally.
Okay.
Right here. Boom. Chicago. Again, I'm with Chicago Title. You can follow me. All my handles are typically jared.larkin. My name is spelled kind of funky. It's that J-E-R. Or you can send me an email with any particular questions or anything really marketing related at info@milehighTitleGuy.com. And
of course, you'll share your information in the comment box as well for everyone. If you can't take a screenshot of this, or we're going too fast and you can't write it down, Jared, you'll absolutely share. Any questions from the audience? I know that we've got a minute or so. Is there any questions regarding, I know that we quickly blazed through this. Obviously Jared's happy to spend some time with you on how to grow your business, because it's a win-win situation, right? Title and so it works. Any questions out there from the audience? And I know there was some, I just can't see them. So Jared, if you can see the questions and you want to answer some of them, I can't see them. So
I got one. What about TikTok?
All right.
TikTok. I get that question too. There's so many platforms, right? And there's always new social media platforms coming out. TikTok, right, as we kind of know, has been really blowing up, especially in the last year. It has been. I would say like the beginning of last year, I was comparing TikTok to like Instagram years ago. I say, hey, if you like making videos that are, less than a minute long and you want to make TikTok videos and try to grow your following there's still opportunity. I set up a TikTok account probably about a year ago, and it was incredible how much cold organic reach I would get from people who would just start following me and see my videos. Some of them that would get, thousands of views when I only had like a couple followers. So I do think TikTok's becoming more and more saturated since then. But again, just like anything, there's an opportunity there if you want to go after it.
Jared, thank you so much for your help. Again, please share your information in the box. You're a wealth of knowledge. You know what? I'm going to take you up on that TikTok tutorial. I want to learn how to make it happen. And I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much for being on this morning's webinar. Jared Larkin, I appreciate it. Our next guest that we have on this webinar this morning is an agent that numbers just blow this world. He's super humble. I've had the privilege of meeting him through the Asian Real Estate Association, and he's a great friend. He's actually out of the San Francisco Bay Area. We've got Herman Chan. Herman, are you on the line?
I'm here, girl, and I'm taking notes seriously. Seriously. I'm taking notes right now.
Herman, good morning.
All my notes in here.
Good morning, Herman. Good morning, and thank you for making it onto the webinar this morning. Lots of questions. If you don't follow Herman on social media, whether it's Facebook and Instagram, do yourself a favor and follow him. Herman, can I just ask, if you don't mind sharing with the audience, how much real estate do you sell in any given year?
Oh my gosh. I think last year I did close to 70 million or something like that, but I'm just a one person. So I'm just like one person.
That's a lot of millions.
Yeah, I mean, I think, everyone's always asking me, you should start a team. You could blow numbers up to 200, 300 million, but I'm not wired that way. And that's a whole different webinar, honestly, like, solo versus like team. But I just really want to focus on the people who I like in my sphere. And that's kind of like my thematic, like MO. So yeah, I'm happy doing the little pennies I earn, just a little bit. I'm like,
Herman, 70 million
I'm too greedy. I'm too cheap.
70 million is very, very impressive. And Herman, I mean, there's no denying you obviously have you command the room. You've got an incredible personality. You're bubbly and you're friendly. And I mean, today's webinar obviously being luxury and social media. And, I think in the rehearse when we were talking about this, let me ask you this. What does a luxury agent on social media look like? And especially since you're in the realm, you're producing those numbers, what does a luxury agent on social media look like?
I mean, that's like asking, I don't know. There's room for everybody, basically. I mean, there are luxury agents out there who are doing their thing and they're doing the old school, like snobby, this is all glitz and glam. And then there's people who actually are selling lots of real estate in the luxury market who are a little bit more messy, as we call it, and a little salty. So it's really kind of like, it's just whoever your tribe that you're trying to court and whoever your clients are is who you should cater yourself to. So there's not one right way. There isn't. Like Jared said in my notes, just be yourself. I wrote, damn right here, girl, right here. Just be yourself. Yeah.
Herman, what's your? Can I? Sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to say, what's your personal brand?
I feel like what Jared was talking about, where there was like multiple platforms, and being 42, girl, I mean, it's a struggle for me too. Okay? Anything past Facebook, I'm like, these kids. Woo! So, but I realized that I have to always stay ahead of the pack and just keep up with things. But with these different platforms, I'm noticing I'm doing different things. And I have different personas for each platform. Like, and I don't really do it organic.
Well, talk more about that, because that was going to be my next question. Is what's your message or persona that's on a MySpace, a Facebook, an Instagram, YouTube. I've noticed that you're starting to do YouTubes.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm getting the word out. Okay, so I've noticed that on Facebook, I kind of post less on that now because I just feel like that has been around for so long. There was a time when you would just add anybody to your Facebook. So I like strangers on my Facebook essentially. So it's a little like, and I can't go through and like that everyone else, just too much trouble, right? So I kind of just post more selectively there. And on Instagram, I noticed for stories, I'm more salty, I'm more messy, I'm more journalistically e-news type stuff. I have editorialized, but those disappear in 24 hours. So it's a little more freeing that way, but still more news-oriented real estate gossip and all that stuff. And then my post.
Is there a value proposition though to the post? I mean, whichever one, what's that value proposition that you're putting out there?
Value proposition.
I mean, it's informative, right? I mean, I feel like because I feel like you could be a journalist, right? You seem to be very informative, right?
You're so astute, Dylan, because I was a mass communications major at UC Berkeley. So that was my original career, was supposed to be a gossip columnist. I'm always spilling the tea, okay? But let me finish my original thought was, the posts I'm doing on Instagram are more visual, just pretty pictures. Because when people are going to vet me, I want them to see something very pretty. I don't want to see like, oh, what I have for breakfast, but for stories, it's a little more entertainment, infotainment, journalistic. And it's odd because I get so much people DMing me because I think on that private platform, people feel very safe. And I'll get leads about certain, not just houses or listings, but just industry news, which comes out, which I think is really fascinating because people feel like, people feel for some reason when it's on certain like platforms, they can tell you things, and you have to leverage that in terms of giving them a safe space to talk to you, not just about like what's going on with like news, but obviously that means if I'm selling my house, I'm going through this issue with my divorce, I need help. Like curating some type of like authentic persona, I feel people feel like I'm real, and so they can just naturally disclose things to me, like whether they're selling their house or not. So
Herman, well, but no, I mean, that's great. I mean, and how you're breaking, it sounds like you take a very natural, free-spirited approach, obviously with your background in mass communications, and you know, you used to have a blog at some point, right? When you, back in the day when there was blogs.
You're bringing me back. So yeah, I mean, I'm always on the tip of everything. I just, whenever everyone else is doing something else, and I hate doing it. So for example, like way back 12 years ago, I had a video blog called Habitat for Humanity. And this is like video blogging, like also, because now anytime you just do this, it's video blog just by nature, right? But back in those days before smartphones, I was renting out studio space at Coffee TV, a TV station here, hiring editors. I mean, it was a whole like thing to do video blogging. Now people just post stuff on their phone all the time. So yeah, and so now I'm back on that tip again. So like you said, I really feel like I've just kind of taken my business for granted, and I don't think I've been innovating recently. In the past couple of years, AREAA has kept me very busy, and so has the real estate market, but I think I need a creative outlet. So I launched a YouTube, I'm gonna be YouTube famous, girl. No, I a YouTube channel a few days ago, actually, and I really...
I saw that. You asked to try to get to 100 followers in one day, and how many did you end up getting in that one day?
150 something, but I mean, the reason why I need 100 followers in one day is because I need a custom URL. And they won't allow you to give a custom URL.
What's your custom URL going to be?
Because a stupid me didn't read the fine print. It's like 100 followers, and you need to have an account that's 30 days old. I already reached it in a day, so I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta wait another whole 29 days.
I don't know if it's possible to do a screen share to show one of those videos that you have, but for those who are watching, if you don't follow Herman on YouTube, Herman Chan on YouTube, follow him. He just posted up his 3 new videos, and you'll just get a kick. And I love how you integrate, you know, there's a comedy, there's a sartorial to it, but yet it's all trying to show the property and obviously promote you subtly as a real estate agent, and just the level of attention that you bring. The one that I found was the one that you said, "Frame me, Mona Lisa Chan." I mean, that
all about being a meme now. It's all about being a meme. I mean, like,
yeah,
also can screen capture you in that moment, like that's gold, right? But I'm still learning myself, and I feel like I'm starting late. But that's just a lesson to everybody, is that it's never too late to start. And so I for the longest time, I thought, oh, it's so hard to start all over again. And like even what Jared was saying about TikTok being a year ago, and you know, I just gonna just do it. And I'm kind of looking forward to maybe even talking about how I'm growing my YouTube. Maybe that'll be something people want to watch. I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of figuring things out right now, but you know, always innovate and just keeping things interesting, keeping it fresh.
Well, okay. So speaking of keeping it fresh, how often do you post, and how do you maintain that presence on social media, whether it's Instagram and now YouTube? I see you're posting. You're pretty frequent. Is it a daily thing?
Oh, it's an addiction, girl. If you feel like it's a chore, you're never gonna do it. So I don't even like the phrase, the way it's phrased, because it's making it sound like it's a chore. You have to really enjoy talking and sharing. If you're just not that way, it's just gonna be so inauthentic. So me, I just share whenever something pops into my little brain. I was like, oh my God, I have to share this. So,
do you ever post, you know, and you know, I see this a lot online where there's realtors that'll sit at the closing table with their arms around the clients. I've noticed you don't ever post. I don't ever personally, but why don't you?
I just think it's just not my style. I just don't. I first of all, my clients, many of the upper end, like, they're very private. They're very private. So even like my mega mansions, for example, like you'll notice I don't really do very much marketing for this because they're very private. There's not even like a floor plan, interior pictures. They're really discreet. So since we are in a luxury webinar, just FYI, if you're going to be like courting luxury people, it's not so a selling point to be like, say, I can get your stuff everywhere, because it's kind of like not what their thing is about. But in terms of just doing my little like just sold sign in front of the yard. I don't know. I think it's a little cheesy. I feel like you have to give something. Okay, you know what? It comes to two things. If you're gonna post something, it should be educational or informative. Posting a picture of me in front of like a house with a little sign is not teaching anybody anything. It's not funny unless I'm doing some little, like maybe if you're gonna do it in a funny way, or add a little caption that says, oh, I got this because we were all cash, or cash is something that informs the viewer something, but just for the sake of doing it, nah, forget it, yeah. Do everything with intention, like do everything with like impact is really kind of what I, yeah.
Well, Herman, I mean, COVID, I mean, we are in a pandemic where, you know, the world has changed, Herman. You're in California, which I know a lot of the restaurant and dine-ins are on shutdown. Talk to me about that. How does luxury real estate in San Francisco Bay Area and COVID, how does that, what's the intersection of that look like?
That's a whole nother webinar in itself. Well, okay, everything about the Bay Area, not to make this geographical, but since you asked, like, it's a tale of two cities. I think that people, like even in real estate, I feel like most realtors who are doing really well, like 90-10 rule, that 10% is like, they're thriving. Like I sold like 10% more than last year, which is amazing under COVID, right? On the restrictions. But the people who I think were coasting along, the 80-90%, they're struggling. A lot of my agents tell me, say, oh my gosh, I got all my leads from open houses and now I'm just struggling. So I feel like, you know, under COVID, it's almost like the whole notion of like sourcing strangers, open houses, networking is I think kind of dead now. It's really, and this is what I've always advocated, which is kind of anti-social media, but like, you need to focus on your sphere, your Rolodex. And what I learned from Jared—
Do you have a Rolodex?
Oh, hell no, girl. I don't know what that is. No, but what I learned from Jared is that I could, because I asked that question about sponsored, and I whenever I see sponsored, I hate it. I purposely never click sponsored because I don't want to be tricked. I feel like, oh, you're trying to trick somebody. You're trying to trick somebody. But I see now that I need to give it a try, because if it's already someone who I know already, that may actually work. So we'll see. But back to your question about San Francisco. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the ultra high net worth people are moving out to like Denver, for example, Florida. And so I think there's going to be,
but let me ask you that though, like, you know, we talk about, and again, this is probably a whole different webinar, but, you know, we talk about, you know, San Francisco pre-COVID, the inventory was tight. It was a seller's market. Prices were soaring. You know, now we have where companies are saying you can work from home, and it's really impacted how did that offer any relief to what would been, you know, buyers, pre-COVID buyers that couldn't enter the market? Has this, you know, this mix up breathe a sigh of relief into the market of any sort?
In the city of San Francisco, absolutely true. So, you know, the condo market like is just really grim right now because there's an oversupply. Everyone just left. Shared HVAC systems, shared elevators, bad. So everyone left. But all the 5 surrounding counties of San Francisco, from Marin to Silicon Valley to Napa to East Bay, all like increased by 20% or more year over year, which is phenomenal. And SF, I think it went up 3%, which is still a bump up, but when you consider everywhere else with 20%, right, I mean, you can kind of see what's happening. And that's like including condos. If you exclude condos and just focus on condos, like my condo buyers, like I've got a lot of clients who moved here, like one girl she was a nurse, she moved here 20 years ago. She could never afford something because all the tech people would beat her out, or cash buyers from China or whatever. And so all of a sudden she was able to buy something. So I really feel like, because SF, the middle class was completely cratered in the past 10 years. I mean, they all left essentially because for various reasons. So now I'm kind of hopeful that people who are natives or people who are like, you know, teachers or firemen, they can actually stay or buy in the city. So I'm really kind of excited about that in some ways.
So there is a silver lining to all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a reshuffle. It's not right or wrong. It's just like a reshuffling of the buyer pool and the seller pool. I mean, and that's,
it's all about perspective, right? It's perspective.
And we should be grateful, people, because people, buyers and sellers who reshuffle means that we get to make a living.
So, so let's talk. So going back to the social media, so that's interesting to hear about what's going on in your market and tying it again. You know, we talked about the crossroads of where social media and what the market's doing. Can I ask you, is your social media brand, what's the value proposition or what's the aim for it? At the end of the day, is it just an extension of your brand, or is it a marketplace for you to go and get clients? What's your social media doing for you?
You're talking like a marketer. Oh my goodness. I'll hang out. I mean, there's not some massive like master plan here. I think you'd asked me in a prior conversation, like, what are your different like value propositions or personas for each social media? It's
right.
almost like saying, are you different between your work colleagues versus your family? Of course you are, but you're the same person too at the same time. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm not, you just cater to who you're with at that moment. I just do it as a way to, because okay, if you're on social media, you're there for two reasons: lead conversion or brand awareness. Okay, there are some people who are just all about the lead conversions, and it's like you're buying leads and online lead gen. I don't, that's just not my thing. But brand awareness, if you want to call it like a marketing term, yeah, I getting myself out there, being memorable is definitely my thing, but I don't really do it for that reason. I just love serving the tea, girl.
Mm-hmm. Herman, let me ask you this.
Step it up.
So Herman, let me ask you this. Aside from social media platforms, you know, everything's electronic, which by the way, thank you for the holiday card. You wrote that, you hand wrote it, right? I mean, aside from social media, what other avenues are you using for, you know, just for your client, your sphere, your influence? What other avenues of marketing are you that you find an actual direct return on investment?
Again, it's just staying in front of people. So, I mean, I have a little magazine I publish every quarter, which gets sent out. I mean, it's like, it's white labeled, obviously, but still, I mean, I personalize it to make it seem like it's like more mine. Aside from that,
what's the name of the magazine? What title did you give it?
There's two of them. There's American Homes, which I don't use, but the other one's called Homes by Design. Just look it up. I mean, they're more than happy to, you know, take your money. It's a great way to, you know, it's almost like there's like real estate and a little some design articles in there. So it's still under the real estate like vertical. So you're not talking about how to bake cookies and it's nothing to do with you, right? And you can customize a couple of pages and it's just on autopilot. I mean, I just have to basically update the front cover, the back cover, and some other pages inside, just to give it some sense of, and some updates of my life. It's just a nice, beautiful, like curated hard copy thing that gets delivered to their doors. I think the online stuff is so, people are like, for me at least, I just feel so desensitized to anything that's being sent to me electronically, even mail, like postcards. I just think, oh my God, there's poor trees. There's poor trees.
All right, Herman. Speaking of the poor trees, you know, let's talk gossip here. What's your pet peeves that realtors do online? Let's name your 5 top pet peeves of what you see realtors are doing.
Gosh, I'm a positive Polly. I'm not a negative Nancy. Oh my God. My pet peeves. Just in general, nothing about realtors, but especially realtors, is like just vomit content. They're just posting for the sake of posting. I don't care that you had bagels with lox. I just don't. I really just don't care. I mean, like, yeah, just unrelated content, I guess. What else kind of irritates me? Oh my gosh, you know what? This is okay. There's a little scandal here. So there was one girl who actually kind of was following on Instagram for a long time, and we've been chatting, and we have lots of mutual friends. I never met her in person though. Pretty gorgeous, right? She asked me to go to a panel, and a year later on, and when I met her for the first time, I didn't even recognize her. Her filters, her everything was always so like redone. I didn't even recognize her. Myself, oh my God, like what happens when she actually meets a client in real life who they've been talking online? Like I just, there's something about like, everything is so fake nowadays. And I just really kind of feel like I'm really value people who are like just true with the way they look, what they say. And I think there's a lot of like smoke and mirrors in the realtor, well, in general.
Be authentic, right? I mean, I think what it comes off to is be yourself, whoever that may be in real life, be the same person online, or at least some iteration of it. Herman,
people appreciate that. I just think in the era of fake news, fake everything now, it's just some people are craving realness. Serve that realness.
And Herman, you are as real as they get. Herman, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for being on this segment of our AREAA Luxury webinar. We appreciate you. Please share your information for those of you that are watching or just tuned in. Herman Chan, thank you so much, out of San Francisco Bay Area. He is, you heard it, his $70 million plus production a year is absolutely incredible. Thank you, Herman, and we'll catch you on the next webinar.
Bye.
Okay, so we've got my last and final special guest. We've got Sangmi Park out of Manhattan. Do we have Sangmi on the line?
Hello.
Are you there? Can we see you? I think your camera might be off. Can we see you?
Yeah, let me see.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I see your image, but I don't see. There we go.
Can you see me? Hello.
I can see you. Sangmi, how's it going?
How are you? Pretty good. How are you, Dylan?
Good, good, good. All right, so for those of you who are tuning in, my name is Dylan. I'm with the Asian Real Estate Association of America, and I'm the Luxury Chair Committee, the Luxury Committee Chair. Sorry, dyslexic here, so twist it around. And I, I've had so far two special guests. We had Jared Larkin with Chicago Title, and we just wrapped up our segment with Herman Chan. And now we've got the wonderful Sangmi. Okay, am I saying it right? Sangmi or Sangmi?
Yeah, the Sangmi. It's in Korean. A is like ah sound, so Sangmi.
Sangmi.
Yeah.
All right. So the only thing I know in Korean, or at least one of you, is 안녕하세요, right?
안녕하세요.
Good morning from Denver, Colorado. Okay, what's the weather like in Manhattan? Tell me, what's going on?
I mean, yesterday we had a snow, but it wasn't too bad. But pretty much we've been living in like 30 degrees every day. Today's a little bit better. But yeah,
nice.
I mean, it's been extremely cold. I have to wear gloves and hats, and I'm sure Colorado, Denver is not,
It was 9 degrees this morning. 9 degrees this morning. So it's pretty cold.
I can't complain.
Okay, you're at the epicenter of everything that's been going on this past year. You're in the center of it. You have a new budding career in real estate with Douglas Elliman. Talk to me. What is going on in Manhattan?
I mean, it's been a very rough year last year since pandemic, and I feel like New York City has been, impacted most from the local business closing and all the lockdowns. And I've been in the epicenter of looting and protests in the heart of Soho in Manhattan, so I witnessed everything. And we had a lockdown until last June 22nd, so I couldn't even show property physically. And that's when I really had to come up with all this social media and video marketing. Like that was very, very crucial for my business. But last November and December, we had the highest volume in contract. So which is pretty good, like sales started picking up. And as you know, the rental market is just, collapsed. Pretty much, the price went down until 30%. All my international clients are calling me like, what's happening? My property in Sydney is doing well. Singapore is going up. What's happening in Manhattan? I don't want to sell by losing money. So it's very interesting because for international clients, they don't understand. I bought the perfect location, a new development, why my property is not appreciating. So it was very, very hard, and you have to have a lot of conversation with your clients, but we are doing a bit better, and a lot of listings being in contract last month. So we are surviving.
Well, and let me, first of all, kudos to you to being able to weather this storm of whatever's happening in Manhattan. Let me ask you this, and this being the webinar where luxury meets social media and technology, let me ask you this, Sangmi. You're starting your career off. For those who don't follow Sangmi on Instagram, you should, because she's got a very well curated page. You've got things happening. You're growing your follower base. You're with a very prestigious, luxurious firm, Douglas Elliman, which is synonymous with luxury in New York City. Let me ask you this: how are you leveraging the power of social media, and which platforms are you using, especially during COVID, trying to get out there, trying to make a splash. Talk to me, how does that all come together?
That's a good question, because definitely a lot of my approach to social media had changed during COVID. Mainly, I started with Facebook. That's what the first social media platform I used, mainly for social reason. Then I, started my business page on Facebook. Then like Google business, that's like the most important thing, because anyone who want to work with you, they're going to search your name on Google and try to see anything related to you, even referral clients, like, or past clients. They want to know what's up with you, right? So
right, kind of like if I were to hire an electrician or a plumber, you basically look for what they call social proof, correct? And
absolutely,
right?
I mean, even like I'm a food savvy, like I like to check out all this, fun restaurant. I don't just go there. I will do all this first. I will search
Yelp,
their Yelp review. I read all the reviews. I look at their photos, food photo, and I also check out their Instagram to see what's really happening, because stories usually only last 24 hours. So you really get to see what's happening, especially during COVID. Like some restaurants are closed. It's same thing to real estate agent. Maybe, you got this agent contact info from somebody, but you don't just like, okay, I'm just going to reach out to them and start working with, but you do your own research and you will search their name. You will check out the listing they have, Google reviews, everything. So you really have to make sure that you have a great facade on
online presence. Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think because you're a millennial, if I'm not mistaken. So Instagram. Yeah, so it was interesting because I read I don't know if it was on the Wall Street Journal or whatnot, but it was saying that Instagram is basically like the new Google for millennials. So when millennials want to type in Mexican restaurants in Denver, rather than go to Google, now they're going to Instagram to look for that hashtag Mexican food in Denver, or in that case in New York. So let me ask you this. So do you feel like, on social media with Instagram, if you see realtors that have 2 posts, haven't posted anything for 2 years, do you think that affects you? Do you think that affects you and on what your presence is to future potential customers?
I think it really depends on your clientele. So for example, I know some agent who's very, very successful and they don't really have a good persona on their social media, but because they already have past clients, they've been building their business for past 30 years, they really don't need a YouTube channel. They don't need to post everything what they do every single day. And their clientele are focused on more traditional way of communication, calls and emails, things like that. And also my clientele has a mixture of everything. A lot of people are on my social media. Those are my age, like millennials, and they're start buying things and they're in their 30s and working on their purchasing their first home. And it's very natural for them to DM me, like, what are you up to? And also from not only direct consumer and clients, those are my friends and family a lot of times, and they see what I do every single day and they get to know me better. Then they will refer me to other clients. So it really depends.
Do you think they're sharing your profile? Do you think they share your profile?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Like I do have clients in Korea, they want to buy something virtually. What they do is like, hey, you should work with Sang-mi, and this is her IG profile, so you could check her out. That's how I usually work.
That's really good. And I think it's been a common theme throughout, the guest speakers that we've had today is boosting up. I did see a question that popped up, and this will lead me into the next one, is we talk about being well-rounded on the internet, whether it's Yelp or Google or whatnot. How do you build up, because it's the cookie crumbs that are ultimately going to lead to you, and Instagram being one of those cookie crumbs. How do you build up your presence on Google?
On Google. So usually, there's like different way to do it. You could post some photos, but for me, most important thing is collecting reviews from my past clients. So I always have them to write reviews, either they're seller, buyer, or renter, tenants, landlord. I want them to write a nice review for me on Zillow and Google, so that next, someone who want to work with me can, check the testimonial from my past clients, and just basic photos of you, or properties.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's really, really good. So we've got build up good reviews, look great on Google. Do you recommend, I mean, and I'm not very well versed with Google. I mean, I've got reviews on Google and I upload some pictures, but do you feel like the frequency on what you post on Instagram should be the same on Google or no?
No, I think Google is more of, you don't have to have up-to-date photos all the time, because mostly it's gonna be your properties or your profile photos. But it's just the way it's not, I'm not running restaurants, so I don't have to keep up with all these new menus and stuff, but it's more of, review purpose and the location and basic business information.
So let me ask you this then, going into the social media, again, for those who are watching, you should follow Sangmi Park. Should be happy to help all of your referrals out into the Manhattan area. So what, do you sell below like 138th, or where, do you sell below 70th, or where do you sell, Sangmi?
What do you mean, 70?
In Manhattan, do you sell below 70th?
Oh,
do you sell below 100th? Where do you sell?
My clients are all over. I mean, right now I am working on townhouse listing in Harlem too, but I do have listing in Midtown. I mean, I don't pick and choose. Like, I'm in real estate business fourth year. Yeah, so I will tell you something what happened today. So I have this townhouse listing, and
how much?
I mean, this one is a rental, but it was $3 million listing. But the landlord, the owner doesn't want to sell right now. She wants to keep it. She wants to find a tenant for XXX, including private roof deck. So I made a video and I did a really nice photos, and I include myself in the video introducing the property. And I just got a call before today's webinar, and it was from neighbor who lived next to that townhouse. And I think the owner was doing their due diligence, what's on the market, because there are not that many inventory of the townhouse listing. And she was like, I really like the way you did your marketing. I want to list something with you. So that was literally what happened, like 12:45 p.m.
Congratulations. So, that's really awesome. That's really, really exciting. Yeah. Do you feel like, when you're having these exchanges with Paul Wong says, congrats, Sangmi.
Thank you.
So when we talk about social media here, can I ask you, Sangmi, you're in New York, you're in the Big Apple. There's a very distinct look of Manhattan, which I think you convey really well on your social media. How often, and what's the look that you're going for when you're pushing out there? Because they say that your vibe is your tribe. What are you putting out there?
Well, first of all, like anything that's social media, I try to make sure that it's right on my brand. And, basically social media is not the place try to sell property, honestly. That's more of showing the world who you are, showing your trustworthiness, you're genuine, you are the type of person going extra miles for your clients, and you're engaging, you're funny. Like, so you're showing your personality. And like basically building trust. And also I'm sharing a lot of my listings and sharing that access to the luxury with my audiences. And of course, I try to add a lot of value. So, my goal is I wanted to add more like tutorial or tips, like, what to do before you list your listing in the market, the tips for first-time buyer. Like, I try to post more things like that. But not only business, I love sharing my passion as well.
I see you're like all over the city. Like, I saw you at a bagel post the other day. You're at different restaurants. You're really showing more than just a house. You're trying to show like a lifestyle almost, right?
Absolutely. I also think it's very important for you to know what's happening in your local community, new restaurant, what restaurants are closed or new stores open, because that shows that you're expertise in the neighborhood. And, people usually like that. So I think it's important for you to share that with your audience. And also, I'm also a human being. I have my human side. I value my family and friends' time. So I like cooking, I like traveling, not so much after COVID, but, any sports that you like to play, tennis or golf, I think it's important for you to show your human side. So maybe people who have same interests in their life, they feel more connected with you. So it's more warm than cold, property photos and just work.
Yeah, no, and you have a really soft, well-rounded Instagram page. You're building up your followers, and it's really cool to see, you know, when I look at your page, I'm looking at the New York lifestyle unfold. You know, just you're telling a great story on your social media. So with that being said, can I ask you, is there a direct return on investment? And investment, I don't mean even a monetary, I mean the time that you're putting in. What do you see as a direct return on investment?
Well, it's not monetary, of course, but I do get referral clients. 80% of my business is based on referral. Like I sometimes get like a cold lead from Instagram. Like, I like that property. Like, can you share? Like, but it's very cold. It's not warm. But a lot of times my followers are my friends and family, you know, sphere of my network. So they know me personally most of the times, and they feel comfortable and they get to know me. Like, my social media is that, you know, the door to get to know Sangmi more in a personal level, and they feel more comfortable to refer me to, you know, friends or families of their network. So that has been the return for me, and I love sharing. It's just be authentic. People don't like fake. Again, like Herman said the same thing. Like, I really try to just have more fun. I try not to be so serious about posts, because then you never want to post a single post, because what if someone criticizes your post? But, you know, like story wise, I just don't think too much. I just share here, there,
What's
throughout my
happening in your
day.
life?
Yeah, like if I had, you know, I took my buyer out for showing some awesome properties in Tribeca. I like to share some cool picture and videos. So they just get to see what I do every single day, and, you know, have that access to property. Not only that, they also have access to my personal life.
You know, Sungmi, I can't believe we've been on an hour on this, and time flies, they say, when you're having fun. First of all, thank you so much for your time and your contributions to AREAA. I do believe you're a member of the AREAA Manhattan chapter, correct?
Oh my God, I'm actually an officer. I'm a secretary for AREAA Manhattan.
Oh,
Hello.
nice. You know, I got a comment on there somewhere that said maybe President 2022, 2023.
Not yet, not yet. I mean, there's other members who will be interested in, but not yet.
Sungmi, as we Amy Kong saying, all right, Sungmi. So Sungmi, as while we close on this, first of all, please share your information in the comment box. I'll stay out so that everybody can copy and paste. Sungmi, any final words before we close up the webinar to impart on those that are viewing on luxury real estate, social media, how to make those two come together?
Well, you know what? When it comes to social media, it's very tricky because you got to share who you are with the world, and, you know, just don't be too serious. Just be genuine, and everybody has a room for, and there's a room for everyone because everybody's different, right? So just have more fun with it, and just think social media as the tool to be connected with people. I think that's just the right way to see it. Like, you don't have to impress anyone. If you could be connected with people in a deeper level, like, your goal is achieved. Also, I feel that social media platform has been changed very quickly. I mean, during COVID, we did TikTok, Reel, like I try everything, but I just couldn't stick with any of them. But just keep your eyes peeled for the change and just have fun with it.
Sangmi, thank you so much for being a guest today. And thank you to everyone for joining on today's webinar. That brings us to an end. We are at time. Time flies when you're having fun. Again, please feel free to take the information, and Sangmi, you're more than welcome to share your information. I'll hang on for just another minute or so. If you have any questions, feel free to DM these folks on social media, on Instagram, TikTok. I think Herman said TikTok, or someone said TikTok. I'm Denver Dylan. If I can be of any help, please let me know. Hashtag Denver Dylan on both Facebook and Instagram. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you to the folks over at AREAA for sponsoring today's webinar. We'll see you on our next webinar, and we'll continue to post these. Please follow us. If you're not a member, please join AREAA.org. So AREAA.org. It's an easy, I think it's like $99 a year, and we prorate it. So it'd even be cheap to sign up now. We renew in June or July or something. So so for those who are not an AREAA member network, I mean, you can see the power of networking and being able to meet people literally from across the country and actually internationally. You know, I've been fortunate to meet people from literally all corners of the globe through the AREAA network. So what a great organization. We'll feel free to share any comments, make referrals, and we'll catch you on the next AREAA webinar. Have a great day. Bye-bye.